All right. So the thing I just want to close with today is looking at a framework, which I basically stole from a bunch of vets. Vets that got even more challenges than we do because there are insurances around now, but previously when you said, so, Daisy needs a $5,000 knee or dental, that's $5,000 of real cash, and so it was a really difficult conversation, and vets really struggled with trying to get owners to commit to the money that needed to be invested. And we do know too, like in allied health, that with a lot of the high value treatments, sometimes practitioners, particularly practitioners early in their career, can be again price sensitive and have concerns around saying, hey, look, you might need 350 pounds worth of surgery or orthotics or a particular treatment package. And so what we've done is basically to highlight a way that you actually step the patient through a framework that can help them get to the result, which is basically they've come in with a problem and they really want a solution. Where practitioners shoot them in the foot, they think people, they don't want to tell them what they need to do. That's why they're there. That's why they're there. If they don't want to be told what to do, they'll just be on Google. They've invested time and money in their business life to show up in your treatment room and want to be fixed. So it's our job to diagnose and show them what needs to be done next and give them every chance to get the best outcome. And again, it's not our job to highlight what they can and can't afford. It's our job to say, look, this is the best course of action, and then they can figure out what actually works for them in their personal circumstances. So when we break this down, it's a really nice thing. We've got a training on this in Optimus, but it's probably a good thing just to go through live because it's something we use in our practice pretty extensively. So when we start, the first step of the 9th step is to set the intention and actually bring 20% more energy. Now, the intention is, again, like for the practitioners who are listening today, there's going to be times where you look at your day and you've got 20 patients coming in that day. And all of a sudden you look at patient 10, you go, oh, it's Andy. Andy annoys me. I never have a good time when Andy comes in. So those first 9 patients, all you can think about is Andy coming in, and it really takes the wind out of his sails. And then you look a bit further down the end. Second last patient of the day, Roseanne. She is a handful, absolutely a handful, incredibly demanding, can't shut her up. And so you're looking at your day going, this day's going to suck. Not only am I seeing 20 people, but I've got 2 people who really irritate me. Or it could be that you just showed up that day and you woke up with a headache, you had an argument with your husband or wife, you spilled your coffee on the drive in, you got over a red light and you showed up late. So you've rocked up with the first patient, you're in a really lousy mood. How does that consult go? Terribly. And so the intention is, again, if we're not being burnt out by seeing too many people because we're undercharging, we haven't changed our model, and we've got a poor utilization rate. If we show up at that consult and we've got a bad frame of mind around that person, around that, or how we're feeling, that consult's going to go terribly. We're going to need to honour that this person has got a problem they want fixed, and they want to invest time and money to get a result. And not a result in 6 months' time that hopefully just figures out. They want a result as quickly as possible. And so we need to set the intention. We're going to do everything possible. Today's the day. I'm going to win Andy over. He and I are going to connect. Roseanne, today's our day, Roseanne. You and I, we're going to figure this out. We're both going to enjoy this. I'm going to set that intention. Even though I'm feeling a little bit lousy and my day hasn't gone how I planned, I'm actually going to bring 20% more energy than I would normally. I'm actually going to just make sure that I'm actually smiling. I increase the tone. I increase my, I really get myself ready for that consult. If you were to just to practice this with every single patient, you'll have an amazing day. Just this. And people go, I know I do this every way. No, you don't. People have stuff going on in their lives. They have those probable patients who all do. Everyone's got, got that patient who just, but you set this intention, it will change things. So that's our first step. From there, we use the 3-question loop. The key for a good outcome and connecting with the patient is that, they like us and trust us. And so it's the ability to build rapport quickly. For example, Blake's coming in. I've set the intention that, I know this guy's a sportsman. He's got repetitive injuries coming in, and I'm actually a little bit intimidated by it. He's a brilliant sportsman. I said, no, this is going to be great. I'm going to connect with this guy. We're going to get a great outcome. So I've come in and said, hey, Blake, how are you going today? Yeah, really well. So, hey, mate, did you catch the cricket last night? Probably wasn't the best question to ask. But again, you ask a question. It might be about the weather. It might be about something to connect. And the idea with the 3-question loop, So do you watch cricket? Oh no, I don't follow sport. Oh, okay. So what are your interests? Oh, I'm into gardening. Oh, okay, what sort of gardening do you do? So you're actually starting to build a little bit of a relationship and get a bit of a feel what sort of person this is. Because experienced practitioners will realize over time it's not always what we do, but it's kind of how we do it and how we actually measure our communication with the person who's in our room. And so the 3-question loop is really important to try and highlight that connection rather than just galloping into the consult. Sorry, I've just got to fix my little thingy. Actually, I'm going to get rid of that. All right, so obviously it's going to build your likability and trust. We then have the primary question. So the idea here is to find, people will, by the time, a lot of people when they come in, by the time they get to you, they've had this problem for a long time. They can have a shopping list full of concerns that they have. And basically we want to find out, what is your primary concern? What is the number one thing? What is the thing that happened first? And so this is where we want to start, and usually everything else will, roll out from there. And we want to keep it tied onto one thing before we go to, and blur the game field. It's at this point where I might be working with Blake and he's got this Achilles tendon issue. So look, how long have you had it? Tell me more about it. Has it happened before? What does it stop you from doing? It stops him from playing cricket. Look, so how often you play cricket? Oh, look, I'm addicted to it. It's the thing I do for me. I've got crazy family at home, very busy with work, but cricket is my escape. So it's pretty important that we actually try and resolve this for you to get you back on, on the cricket field. Hey, he goes, yeah, absolutely, I'd love to. I want to understand not just what his problem is, but how it impacts him. It might be Katie, and that she might be someone who just has got, again, a really hectic, busy lifestyle, and running and doing the park run every Saturday is the thing that she does for her, and it's just that. It's where she gets her sanity, where she gets her freedom. It's also almost like a meditative thing for her. So, right, Katie, we really look at resolving this problem, so get you back running and get back to that meditative state as quickly as possible. How does that sound? So with Blake and getting back to cricket. Find out, why is it important? Oh my, stop. Okay, so when we get into the clinical exam, one of the nice things with the clinical exam is, obviously you've done your history, etc. The thing we want to make a differentiation here with the clinical exam is actually trying to involve the patient in the process. And one of the things that you've got to remember is a lot of patients, they actually, they fear what they don't know and they judge what they don't understand. And so they're coming in, they're not sure if they're in the right place. They're not sure if you're the guy or girl to see them. They're not sure, and they may have some anxiety around the whole process. So the clinical exam is, if we can actually involve them, what do you think? If you put up a film, so what do you see? You might analyzing, their gait. What do you see when you look at that? And trying to ask them, what do you think caused this? And really kind of involving them, as opposed to just kind of having the white coat and, I'm the expert and you're just the person who's, number 8 on the list, I'm fixing you today. Try and engage as much as possible. So again, it's really, building on the rapport we've established earlier. This is the process now that once we've done our clinical exam, so we've identified the primary concern, we've identified the emotional trigger, you've done your history, you've done your examination, and then now you're going to go into what is that treatment, or what is that high value thing that you need to position, whether it is a toe surgery, whether it's an ACL rehabilitation plan, maybe it's using prescription orthoses. And the idea is here that we actually explain in detail what that process is. Very often I'll see with more inexperienced clinicians, I'll actually kind of gloss over this, and patients are confused. It's really important that we explain it step by step. And so, look, I've talked to just working with Blake. He's got very poor biomechanics, and as part of his treatment plan, we're going to be using orthotics. And I'll be saying, look, the body's incredibly smart, and it's an incredibly sophisticated machine. Like if I cut my hand, it'll heal itself. But think about it, I cut it and it actually heals. I'm just like Terminator, just slower, but it actually heals itself. And I said, the body can do that. But if I keep doing chin-ups every day, that's not going to heal. Why? Because I keep loading it. So that's what's happening with this Achilles tendon as well. The key for us to actually resolve this problem for you is actually to, in addition to all the other parts, is actually deload this structure. And that's where using orthotic becomes the cornerstone of actually helping us to get a great result. Not just to get you out of pain, but hopefully for this not to come back again, and you can start playing cricket for many more years to come. So basically, to make the orthotics we're going to be used, we actually want to make for you. Rather than just getting a pair of glasses off the shelf, but actually have the glasses fitted for you, you're going to get a far better outcome. Now here at the clinic, we basically have some German engineering, and it's a system where we can actually make the orthotics on site. Basically allow an hour and 20 minutes. We take a bunch of measurements to figure out where everything is and what it should and should be doing. We then do a video gait analysis to look at where pressures and forces are going and see what alignments we need to reduce. And then taking a computerized scan, which basically maps your foot in a weight-bearing position with an accuracy of 0.10 of a millimeter. From there, we transfer it to a mill that's on site. We actually ground and make the orthotics while you wait. And so within an hour and 20 minutes, you're actually walking out the door with your orthotics. Now, that was pretty good. I haven't done that for about 5 years. In that period, the people are going, wow, there's a lot involved here. So straight away, they're, what are they actually, again, this isn't very interactive, but what are they sensing? There's a lot of value in this, and they're probably thinking, oh, this could be expensive, but they're getting this value as opposed to, just saying, oh, look, we're going to get some orthotics and this is going to really help, and having no clarity around why and what's involved. So we want to make sure there's no surprise, that they're completely aware of what to expect. Then we talk about the benefits. And so, what is in it for the patient? What's in it for them? How is this going to get them closer to the result they're after? So with these orthotics, as I said, like with glasses, if you have the glasses prescription, they're exact view, and you give us the far greatest outcome to get the result we're after. As I say, with the process we're using, incredibly accurate. We're doing a weight-bearing position, so there's no guesswork. You walk out the door, you're going to get these in an hour and 20 minutes. They're going to last you at least 3 to 4 years, so on and so forth. We can customize the shoes, etc. So understand why this is important. And the cool thing is, again, we're resolving an Achilles issue. We've obviously got the shock wave, but also we're doing some modification to activity. But there's a lot of exercise that you need to do. Now you're a human, and I'm a human, and like most of us humans, we can be a little bit lazy. The orthotic is absolute. It's in your shoe, and you don't need to think about it. That's the one thing where you're working 8 to 10 hours a day. We know you're going to be supported. It's to help deload that. So like when I'm doing my chin-ups and I'm terminating and I can't heel, this is going to give us a far greater chance of success. So I start to highlight the benefits. So again, building the value, and this is what this whole process is. With a thorough clinical exam, etc. Look, you look into Steve and Jill's clinic there, you can see there's a lot of investment into the equipment they've got there. So basically, right, I understand there's real value in what we're doing here. We then ask questions, and we just flip it a little bit rather than saying, do you have any questions? Is there anything I didn't explain clearly? Now, if I say, do you have any questions, which is very vague, or do I say, is there anything you don't understand? It puts it on you. Because again, we're trying to build the value. Is there anything I didn't explain clearly? And I'm taking ownership. It's a great opportunity to address the questions then. Then basically say, okay, so Blake, next steps is we're going to do the shock wave today. You've got the exercise that you need to do, but the really important step next is get these orthotics done and get them done as quickly as possible so we can deload these structures. As I said, it's going to take about an hour and 20 minutes. You'll come in, go through the process, and leave that day with your orthotics. We'll fit them straight into your footwear. Those orthotics are 890. They're 450 pounds. Next step, what would you like to do? Once we've done this, you'll be, this is giving us our best chance to get you back into the cricket pitch as quickly as possible. So it's basically just stating it, and then the patient can then go, oh, that's a little bit expensive. I said, yeah, well, you could say that, but when you think about it, 450 pounds. Look, you look at, what are your tires cost in your car? What does your wife pay to get her hair done? How much is your last massage? And these are things that are going to last you at least 3 to 4 years. This is the cornerstone to deload this thing, to get you back playing cricket. How good would that be? And so this is where we bring up the emotional trigger again. What is it stopping that person from doing? And then next step is go, righto, let's, don't, this pause of death. It's kind of like, you say, righto, it's 450 pounds. Like, it's probably not going to work very well. But it's at this point, again, you're not trying to, this isn't about trying to force people into things. It's trying to let people understand this is actually really, really valuable. I think I've never had an issue with this because, I had a huge amount of musculoskeletal issues as a kid, and orthotics have made a profound impact on my life before I was even a pod. I know with most of the injuries I treat as a pod that an orthotic, it helps the outcome immeasurably and is an absolute pivotal part. And so I know that when I go through this process, 99 times out of 100, the patients proceed. If there is some reason, a monetary or financial reason why they can't do this particular procedure, we can also always look at something else. Again, look, you go through this with with the toe surgery. It's just absolute. That's going to resolve the issue. Yes, we can we can do maintenance and mess around, but why would you? Again, like in the benefits with toenail surgery, I always tell people, like, the two things most people say, every single time is, that wasn't as bad as I thought, and I wish I'd done it earlier, like nearly every single time. And so once you get to this point, it's then booking it in. And so once I've kind of gone through, answered the questions, I've told them how much. I said, right, I've got a couple of spaces next week. Probably, I can get you in on on Monday or Thursday, which would work for you. And that is the system. And again, it's a sort of thing where if you haven't done this before, I would generally just start with setting the intention and just slowly work our way through it. But it's worked profoundly. And I've actually got a guy. He's he's fourth year, and he is like in our world, if I've got a pod billing over $30,000 or £15,000 a month, they're going well. They're a good, solid pod. This guy last month, I think, did 50 or 25,000 pounds by himself, and already this year he's done 30,000 pounds by himself. And at one stage he went from doing 25 grand a month to 35 grand a month, and I was going, mate, what are you doing? What's going on? He said, the ninth step. I said, you're doing it? He said, yeah. So I watched the video about 5 times. And I just started doing it. He said, it's unbelievable. He said, if I feel patients need to go a certain way, through likability and trust, they're committing to the process, and we're getting great outcomes. And he could balance it out with his rebooking rates in the high 80s, and his net promoter score is 90%. So he's not over servicing. He's not, people are really happy with what he's doing, and he's, they're completely booked out. So, it's a really strong model, and I'd love to see if there's any questions around this, Blake, because that's all I really want to cover.